Hey folks, we are back at imdeveloper.com live. That's a new tagline. I'm switching it up. My name is Nick Taylor, your host, and I'm hanging out with Chan today. Chan, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on. It's fun to actually get to hang out with you because I think we've hung out in I think the last time I remember hanging out was like at a conference online type of
Yeah,
thing. We were talking about suspense maybe or something like that.
yeah. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I don't know if it was. Did Reactathon have a virtual or it's?
I feel like it was even before. Yeah, maybe when was that? Maybe it was like last
Yeah.
year's like React Advanced or something.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it was
maybe it
like
was that. Yeah.
I feel like it was like winter or like fall winter time.
Yeah. No, I remember you were just. I guess what you're just running a room there, and then you're like, hey, anybody want to come say hi? So I was just like, hey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool, cool,
It
cool.
was
So,
nice. It was good to, you see meet all these people online in like low fidelity, which is like an avatar and like, whatever they're, putting out online. And it's really nice when you
yeah,
get to actually like hang out in a room with somebody and talk and get some, texture of, whatever they look and act like. And it's awesome.
yeah, no, for sure. I definitely hear you. And we had our offsite for Netlify recently, which was in Hawaii, which was awesome. But it was, you know, it to go another level. It was really nice meeting a lot of my coworkers in person. Obviously, COVID's still around, but good old pandemic. But it was still great to see everybody. And but yeah, no, yeah, this is cool. We're hanging out. I know a lot of people probably know who you are, but for folks that, because I know we get all walks of life coming in, checking out the stream. So some people just starting out their career, so they might not know who you are. So if maybe give the TLDR of who you are.
Yeah, for sure. So, my name is Michael Chan. I go by Chantastic on the internet. I think probably my biggest claim to fame is I had a podcast called React Podcast. I mean, I still do, called React Podcast. I did that pretty diligently weekly for 2.5 years, maybe. And things happened and it became really difficult to produce after that. And so yeah,
Okay.
so I kind of have some like I guess maybe like older um energy. So yeah, so I think that there's not a lot of stuff that I've done recently that people who are like newer into this field would know about. But yeah, so yeah, that's something I love podcasting. I love like live stuff, but I've been trying to do a little bit more on YouTube these days. Get some of the things that I've learned over the last, I don't know, 15 plus years doing this stuff like out of my head
Yeah.
and onto a page somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, that's how I came to know you originally was through the React podcast, which is a great podcast. If folks have never checked it out, even just listening to the old catalog, it's really great.
Oh, thanks.
And then I know nowadays I'm in your Discord. I'm more of a lurker in the Discord, but you run it's called lunch.dev, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So it's yeah, the easiest way to get there is if you go to discord.gg/lunchdev. The lunch dev, I'm going to be reworking the website, but the lunch dev site goes to some like old courses that I have sold. But yeah, so really great community over there. We have like a ton of really awesome people. I have really enjoyed that space. It kind of like started to grow at the time that like React Podcast was on the downturn, and so just really
Yeah.
awesome people there. One of my favorite things is just that there's a lot of like hyperbole and anger and hype and this versus that online in the Twitter
Yeah.
space. And it's really nice to have like a lot of that happening and then have a space to come back to and be like, okay, like let's actually talk about this like humans, like what do these, technologies or these like, uh movements or kind of like what does the hype actually mean for like our real life. And
Hmm.
I really love that, and there's a ton of really creative people in there. So like a lot of people who have who are in our collective circle, like Ben Myers, AGC Web Dev, like Anthony, who's in chat right now. It looks like, hey, what's up, Anthony? Shout out. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and so it's really been a really fun, Lindsay Wardell, like really fun place to just kind of learn how to do creative things, like learn how to stream for the first time. Learn
yeah,
kind of, test out ideas of like, oh, hey, does this thumbnail like work? Like, would you click on it? Like all that kind of stuff. So I love that space. It's super low key, and it's just some of my favorite people in the industry right now are there, and it's just fun to just kind of go through a work week with people that you like and want to have like a casual kind of not workplace relationship with. Like I love that about
yeah.
community discords.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I love my work and my coworkers are awesome, but it's nice to have other spaces too, for sure. Yeah, I met Anthony through streaming actually when I was doing the Dev 2 stream. He came on a couple times, I believe, and he's been on this stream now. But yeah, Anthony's super cool dude and super knowledgeable, even though he hasn't been in the space that long. Like from what he's
Yeah.
told me, like I think, like kind of blew up on the scene. I feel like so
Yeah, it's so
shout outs to
awesome.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, big shout out.
Um,
Anthony's like all over the place. I freaking love it.
yeah, I was listening to is it the Modern Web podcast yesterday? Because I go for like a long walk at nighttime just to kind of, you know, since we sit down all day. And yeah, I was listening to modern. I think it's modern dot web dev, or it's the one that
Yeah.
Tracy Lee's company runs.
Yep.
And yeah, he was talking frameworks with a friend of his, I think Chris, and then like Tracy and a few other people. It was good chat. So it's yeah, it's nice seeing. I don't know. It's the pandemic's been rough for a lot of folks. Yeah, Anthony dropped it there. Yeah, there was hot takes in it too. But one thing that I think that's been cool about the pandemic, like if you can find a cool aspect of a pandemic, is just a lot of people just started doing stuff like streaming more podcasts, just
Yeah.
just hanging out. Like anytime I've asked somebody, hey, you want to come do this thing, they're like, yeah, sure. It's like, what, not what else do I have to do, but like I think pandemic just made people just come, at least for the people I've been with, it's I feel like people have come a lot closer. I joined like a virtual coffee community, which I have some good friends there now, so it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I still hope the pandemic goes away soon, but you know
Yeah, it's it's
yeah,
it's really interesting. Like that I totally agree with you. That is one of the great things that came out of this. Um, or it's a good side effect, right? Whatever the
yeah,
impetus ended up being, like I really appreciate the side effect, which is we got a lot more comfortable having online relationships. Like it's at the
yeah.
point now where it's like I don't really remember who I haven't actually met in person now, because those relationships have been like so well fleshed out. And
Yeah,
that's a really interesting shift. And I think that there's something like, especially in tech where jobs change so rapidly, communities, like you said, like, virtual coffee, like Discord communities, all that kind of stuff becomes so critical, because like those are your like long-term relationships in it, your long-term workplace relationships, right? Like it's not really happening
yeah,
on like LinkedIn or like all of the, and it's definitely not happening on Twitter where you actually develop meaningful relationships. It's happening in these
yeah,
discords where it's like you actually can have a conversation with somebody, get introduced to people that you didn't know by virtue of like being in, uh, someone else's space. Um, just that like linkability too, right? Like, like you'd said kind of like, oh yeah, like, Lunch Dev is a channel that you lurk in. And I do the same thing for a bunch of other like servers, but like that linkability to be able to be like, oh yeah, like, Nick's in here,
yeah,
like we can like mention him and just kind of like, get him in the conversation. Like that kind of stuff is so cool. Like you can actually like feel and see the like network effects. And I
yeah.
freaking love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And the thing I always say to people too is like you'd be a lot more surprised than you realize, like how many people really want to help you or really want you to win, you know? Like sure there's
Yeah.
crappy people on the internet, but like, and I say this also being a white guy in tech, so I know I have a lot of privilege, but like I've just met so many awesome people, and like, I've helped out some people, they've helped me out, or just being friends. It doesn't always have to be about like take, or so it's like I don't know. I've just found it's been pretty awesome, and like I've been working remote since before the pandemic, and uh, I don't know about you. I would guess it's the same sentiment, but I'm imagining you probably don't want to work in an office, or maybe I could be wrong there. But um, I, I
Yeah.
I'm just kind of done with it, I think.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like there's it was an interesting shift because I think I am definitely sorry about that. I'm definitely a homebody type of person. Like I don't
Okay.
have a lot of need to leave the house, and so um I like the work from home thing. However, it through the like kind of height of the pandemic, we did have like our small little family did have a kind of like this new mode of having to learn how to operate together, and so I
Yeah.
have found, and again, I mean, this is like an incredible privilege, but my so working at Chromatic, because it's a fully distributed company, uh, they have offered to pay for a co-working space for me. So I have like a kind of like uh, a small desk at a co-working space nearby, and that
Okay.
has been like the dream setup for me. Like so it's
Okay.
like being able to have a place that is like fully separated from both like kind of like workplace water cooler stuff and separated from
Yeah.
like kind of home, like, hey, can you get me a snack, or like, oh hey, I found this like cool TikTok, like, do you want to like watch this with me, like separated from both of those things where you can just like go and like jam out work for a little bit and then kind of like
Yeah.
go back into
Emoji
those other modes. It's like
Palooza.
friggin' awesome.
Yeah. No, and like co-working space, I can definitely see. I just because like you can go whenever you want, and it's like for me, it was more like, at least like I'm in a big city in Canada, so like Montreal. So like when I used to commute, like it would be like I'd walk to the train or take a bus to the train, and then I'd take the train, and where I live,
Yeah.
it's like it would take me about an hour to get there, and so then like and then an hour back, and then like if I wanted to go to the gym, I was doing it at my lunch hour and stuff, and so like there's
Yeah.
a lot of time lost, and I am a sociable person, so it's not like it's because I didn't want to hang out with people, but working from home now, it's like this morning, like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays I work out in the morning, so I'm up at like 6:15, and then I'm working out at 7. I'm done at like 8 o'clock. My kids are up going to school, and then like I can start my day, and I haven't lost 2 hours yet, like, so
Yeah.
it's, for me, that stuff's kind of game changer for me, at least. um but but I still go meet like old coworkers or friends for drinks or coffee, because like you still want to see people, obviously.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I found for me, like, it's been a great balance. I haven't looked into a co-working space yet, but I know there are some folks here that I know that do that as well. So it could be something I look at in the future, maybe.
Yeah, it's it's interesting like how much time you get back when you don't have to spend so much time on the road. Like that was kind of like huge, like feeling that for the first time of like, oh my gosh, like especially like traffic, like everybody's on the
Yep.
road like that time of day. And using public transportation, you avoid a little bit of that, but you're still probably like
Yeah.
stuffed into a like tube with a bunch of people like that you don't
Yeah.
want to be stuffed into a tube with. Um, so yeah, I totally hear you. It's having the options is like a really nice uh, privilege and luxury, and I'm really glad that we kind of have been thrust into the future of remote work that kind of looked a lot further
Yeah.
away 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. Yeah, and it's yeah, I find it just gives me back some time to stuff like I can meet my daughter after school and pick her up, like it's not too far away, as before if I was
Yeah.
commuting, that just wouldn't happen, or I'd have to leave super early and then I would be working in the evening late, so like there's a lot of things it brings, I think. But it's some I know I do have other people though that they like doing the hybrid, being in an office still too, and I'm like, it's I'm not gonna judge anybody. Obviously, it's like if that's what works for them, go for it. So,
Oh, totally. Yeah. Like
but
some people need that space. Like, and I
yeah,
mean, like not in a, like, I don't mean that in like a good or bad kind of way. It's just like different, different people operate differently. And I know that this has been a really hard time for a lot of people in the same way that it's been
oh yeah, yeah.
maybe a, a better working environment for the two of us.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. It's not. I mean, I think we're pretty lucky in tech too. Like we don't. Like our job does not literally require us to physically be wherever the job is.
Yeah.
And I know that's not everybody. So I realize that too. But you know, if you can, I just find it's better. But
Oh, it's great. It's great. I
it
love
is.
it. I love it. I want to apologize for my potato video. I think there's something wrong with my cam link or something. Like it's
Okay.
been like this the last handful of times. So yeah, apologize for that. I thought it was just a
Oh, no
fluke,
worries.
but
No
it
worries.
seems to be consistently screwed up now. So I got to figure that out.
It actually, when you literally just said that, it started cleaning up. Like it looks a lot clearer now. I'm looking at it on the OBS,
Okay,
so it's
cool.
yeah. But and yeah, speaking of that, that's a good segue to talk about like, hey, what are we going to talk about today? So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but are you working at Chromatic right now, or are you like an advocate for them? Like I'm not really sure how you fit into the puzzle there. Apologies if I don't know
Yeah, no, no, no,
the
no, that's fine. Actually, it's really interesting in that we could talk about that for a really long time, but I will just answer the question. Yes, so I work for Chromatic. Chromatic is a software company that offers a service that integrates with Storybook, and we also build and maintain Storybook. So um,
yeah.
we kind of use the business to fund the open source development. We have a number of, I think maybe 4 or 5 full-time people dedicated to making sure that Storybook continues to progress, adopts new frameworks
Yeah.
and features and bundlers and all that kind of stuff, so that we can continue to support the really big community of people who are using it to build incredible user experiences. So yeah, so I work for them, and my job is to help educate people in the ways of Storybook and Chromatic.
Okay.
And so I'm still kind of coming up to speed on that. Like every day, I feel like I'm learning new features. I actually came to Chromatic and Storybook from my last job. I was a
Yeah.
front end architect for a handful of years at my last company, and we had a really interesting challenge where we were building like a white label framework, like UI framework that needed to
Okay.
support 10 discrete applications that were individually themed. And we were moving towards all of them having like a light and dark and high and low contrast modes. So that's a lot
Okay.
of variations for this
Yeah.
framework to have. Yeah, lots. And so I actually did a talk recently, both at React Advanced and then kind of more in depth at Reactathon, talking about like how that actually multiplies out. When you have just a UI component, but then it has like multiple variations, and then it's themable, and you have
Hmm.
multiple contrast modes and all that stuff. Like how quickly just one component can be like tens of thousands of possible states like very quickly,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which is kind of insane. And I think that like a lot of like front end developers survive by just not thinking about it. We're like, well, like if there's a problem, it'll just kind of like raise up to the surface, and we'll deal with it then. But when we actually like multiply the problem out, there's just there's such a huge surface area for bugs. And
Hmm.
um, I came to Chromatic, and Storybook because I really needed a way to um, help bring the designers and front end developers together in a place where we could say like, oh no, this actually did break all of these things, right? And it's not because
Yeah.
someone has some secret knowledge about like, oh, there's this weird edge case in this browser and like whatever, but because there was a robot ran a visual snapshot between these two things and we can actually see how it changed and have a conversation about it. And I think
Yeah.
I had gotten really tired of being the person who held all of the keys to like, oh, well, if you change that, then that's going to break this app integration over here. And, like there's this weird edge case that we're trying to support for IE, but just in there. And so like, yeah, I know that you don't have that use case. And so you're not worried about it, but we, as this kind of like baseline framework, we have to think about it because of this one product that's like public facing. Like, and so I just got so tired of being the person who had to keep all of that in my head. Um,
Yeah.
that I was eager, desperate for solutions like Chromatic and Storybook. And so, yeah, when that role came to an end, I had already developed some relationships with the people over there, and I was like, you know what, it would be kind of fun to work on all of the design systems. So
Yeah.
let's do this thing.
No, that's super cool. That's super cool. Yeah, I came across Storybook in 2017. I think this is like giving a bit of history here, but I used to use Meteor JS. I don't know if you ever ended up using that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Meteor JS was like for folks depending on how long you've been doing web dev. It was like universal JavaScript. So like you write server and client side, and then there was pieces that you could use on both. And it was a really cool thing at the time. Everything was JavaScript, so the database was Mongo, so
yeah,
JSON or whatever. And then there was what's his name? He started Storybook. His name's escaping me at the moment. He ended up working at Vercel eventually, and then he's doing his own thing again, doing teaching. But started
oh,
with an A.
interesting.
But it started. Storybook started as something kind of in that Meteor era, and I don't
Yeah,
think it was tightly integrated to Meteor, but it was just like because React was being used. Uh, so yeah, it's gonna bother me what his name is. I'll find it later. But anyways, yeah. And then I think at some point, the evolution like Meteor's still around, I think, but they became Apollo, like Apollo GraphQL, I
yes.
think. I'm just doing my fact checking here, make sure I got it
Yeah,
right.
no, no, no.
And then
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
yeah, and then like Storybook itself, it became its own thing, and it was still open
Hmm.
source. And then I think Dominic, who you work with, and
Yes.
I forget who else, but I think they kind of became the stewards, like the maintainers of it. And then I guess that's how Chromatic came to be eventually, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you got so much of it right. Yeah, there's yeah, so Dom is my manager of the DX team, and then
okay,
yeah, so like I think Norbert and Shillman were two, or Michael Shillman were
yeah,
two of the people who were kind of stewarding Storybook at the time. And so then
okay,
they all like kind of like gathered together and like, hey, let's really dedicate to this open source product, let's build a service around it. And so then Chromatic came after that as a tightly integrated thing. But yeah, it's really interesting, like
yeah,
the there's a huge amount of potential energy in Meteor, and it didn't end up being the thing that people wanted it to be. But it's really
hmm
interesting to see how much potential energy there was in the ideas and the products that were made at that time, and how they spun off into like very successful other products.
yeah. I uh I dropped it in the chat, but I found it because I googled it and it showed up on the Storybook docs. But yeah, there was a
There we
company
go.
called Kadira, and it was Aranota. That's who it was. Yeah. Uh, so yeah. Anyways, just giving a little shout out to Aranota because he did a lot. He did a bunch of stuff for Meteor as well. But yeah, cool. Yeah, that's it. Norbert and Michael Schumann. I haven't spoken to them, but like I, we follow each other on Twitter now, I think. So it's just like, yeah, it's kind of cool. There's like a lot of stuff's been going on. I know we're gonna jump into something soon, but there's been a lot of changes too to Storybook over the years in a good way, I think at least. Like
Yeah.
when it originally came out, it was because Webpack was came onto the scene. I think maybe 2014, or I think Webpack really got accelerated because of React, honestly. Because before that, it was like Browserify.
Yeah.
But Storybook was using Webpack and had been using Webpack for quite a long time, as far as I know. And
Mhm.
when I was at Dev 2 still, I'm not positive of the version. I think it's like Storybook 6. You started introducing other bundlers. Is that right? Or
Yeah, that's right. And so so we now have Vite support. There's still a handful of features that we're continuing to like deeply integrate. So if we do a demo today, we'll probably use Webpack just because it's the most stable. And we've actually done a huge
yeah.
amount of work to get some of the components like just in time, so that the Webpack version of it actually competes pretty favorably with Vite. But yeah,
Okay.
integrating more bundlers is a really important thing. I think two of the big things that we wanted to solve over the last year, and I say we, but I mean like the storybook engineers that are like actually doing the hard work here.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like Tom Coleman, Jan Braga, like Norbert, Michael Schillman. Hopefully, I'm not missing anybody, but yeah, like working on these problems. Yeah, um, yeah, Hurt. I think works on both Chromatic and Storybook. But yeah, so uh, I know I'm going to forget people, and I feel bad about that. But it's just in this mode, it's kind of like you're like searching your mind, and it's like it's so cloudy. There's so many things I want to talk about. So I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize right up front. So what we're doing, so like a handful of the big focuses that we've had this last year have been um, really like just bringing more of the community into Storybook. So like Vite has been
Okay.
huge, and a lot of people love Vite, and we want to like bring more availability of Storybook to Vite. And so we have added a new like new bundler support, and through that work it should be easier to do additional bundlers as like new things start to come online, now that it's kind of abstracted away a little bit.
Okay.
um, but then also it's like through that shoot, sorry, something's happening outside and I totally lost my train of thought. But there's a handful of
It's
other
all good.
things
It's all
that
good.
have that have really helped us kind of like um, are helping us like do more. And so like something that I'm really excited about is we're working on this feature that would allow anything that uses component story format. And we'll touch more on the details of that in just a little bit, but you'd mentioned it. Component story format is this way to write stories
Mm-hmm.
and consequently tests um, using just an ES module format. It's just like ES module standard, but then we do like a little bit of wiring up based on the file name to kind of like have some like really nice like niceties. And the cool thing about that is that in like very soon, anything that uses component story format, so like ladle's one of these things that is I guess like storybook competitor. I'll just say like storybook
Okay.
alternative. But it uses the same component story format to write stories in. And I think coming up
Okay.
soon, we're really hoping to release some features that would allow anything that uses component story format to integrate with Chromatic and get the benefit
Okay.
of visual regression testing. I mean, this is all kind of like a little bit far away, but um,
Yeah.
I think it's important because I think it just kind of like shows like where we're going. Like we want to bring more of the community into this way of development, and so I think there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things that feel like or sound like competitors at the moment, but we are really hoping that it to kind of like rally around this component story format as a way of
Yeah.
declaratively documenting and testing components, and then kind of figuring out like what we can do around that, and then like whatever your flavor is, maybe I think every community kind of has their own version of like what a storybook looks like. And so I think,
Yeah.
more power to you, right? Like make it, make a, svelte and Vite and like whatever thing. But if you can kind of use this story format, then like you can still have like the benefit a lot of the tooling ecosystem of like add-ons and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're working towards. Obviously these things just take a lot of time. But I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
the more tools, the better. I think, our goal is to just improve the UX of the web. And I think that there's so much innovation happening. There's no way that we could like be the kind of like gatekeepers of it all. So I'm just really excited that we're
Yeah.
able to migrate the software to like meet the
Okay.
community where it's going.
Yeah, no, that's super cool, and it's great to work on a standard like that. I dropped a couple links to the component story format.
Oh, cool. Thank
Um,
you.
the the we'll get to the live coding in a minute, but the one thing I really want to say that's really compelling about Storybook is, when I was working at, I'd used it prior to working at Dev.to, but at Dev.to, the app, and I know you've worked on a Rails app before too, but like the
I have.
whole, it's like a monolithic Rails app, and we were using Preact in the front end in kind of like a bespoke manner. And the fact that I put Storybook in place there before I was working there because it's open source, and I was so glad I did that, because like you can literally build out these components without even running the entire Rails app. Like, so like,
Yes.
you know, which is like huge. Like that is like when you're in all JS land, maybe you don't necessarily feel that as much, but like just being able to say like I don't even need like the database, anything, like I
Yep.
don't need anything running. I can literally just go to my canvas and start painting, like that to me is like such a huge thing. It's really big.
Yeah, like it's good architecture, right? Like you the benefit of components is their isolation, right? Like they should be disconnected from data. We should be able to kind of like mock things very easily, as easily as just throwing an object at it and saying like this is what a user data will look like when you eventually have it. But like we don't need to like
Yeah.
wire all of this test environment stuff up. And I think that Rails kind of analog is super important because so much of like I am a front end developer, right? Like that's how
Yeah.
I identify. I've never been like a full stack developer. Like I do enjoy kind of going into full stack sometimes for some of my own projects, but like I love the front end side of things, and
Yeah.
it's really, I was amazed how every job I had really required me to be a full stack developer, to like twiddle certain things or like,
Yeah.
change a database response or like, fix up the Rails environment or kind of like have these fake migrations to run to get into, certain states. Like, and it's like, I didn't want to deal with any of that nonsense, right? Like the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about working with components is that we can do them, we can test them and document them separated from the full stack. And I think that's something that's like
Yeah.
really cool, is being able to visually test um, as a test between a component and its integration with the browser, without
Hmm.
having to like bring along the full stack with it. Like that is really the superpower of this like Storybook Chromatic um,
Yeah.
pairing, is because it's like it's just so, it feels so light compared to what we've had to do in the past on like just doing front end stuff and like trying to maintain a Rails
Yeah.
test environment, and how slow they were for like visual tests. It's just like it's just better.
Yeah, yeah. Before we, because I definitely want to start doing some live coding, so I think people will appreciate that. But there's a question in the chat from Dalbert74 saying, I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to speak to this, but how do you keep your storybook stories, the input to your components in Storybook, up to date with the actual context in which the component will need to live slash be rendered? So I guess like within Storybook or in the real app, how can you kind of make guarantees, I guess?
Yeah. That is interesting. I mean, like, so one thing that's kind of interesting is that, you know, TypeScript helps out a lot with this. So like if you are doing your componentry in TypeScript, then that will really provide a mechanism, like when you like update your component library and then like try to use it, you're going to
Yeah.
start getting errors inside of your, code base where it lives to say like, hey, this interface isn't compatible anymore. I think that if you aren't using TypeScript, you do have to be a little bit more vigilant about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's always going to be some level of having to they coordinate, I guess, like, interface changes. I think TypeScript does help a lot with that. One thing that we see a lot is, so like MSW is a really great way of like mocking data requests. And so I find that to be like a really helpful way. Like if you want to actually try to like see what a component looks like with a, actually making a request, we do have some add-ons
Yeah.
that allow you to use mock service worker. And sometimes some of those abstractions can actually be shared between your like kind of coding environment to, if you want an offline coding environment, and then also your
Yeah.
storybook. So I think, TypeScript is great if you have the privilege and uh, I guess people to do TypeScript. But then also like using things like MSW is really really nice too.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, mock service worker is really great. I think it's a nice way to really handle stuff because like before mock service worker, I remember like like whether it's in component tests or just regular tests in Jest, for example, it's like you'd be like, okay, mock the fetch, and then like all of a sudden you're mocking all these things, and it's just like this way. I mean, you're still mocking things, but it kind of gets it out of the way, and it's
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot more manageable, and it's using something in the platform too, which is pretty neat. So
Yes. Yeah, it's really nice
yeah,
because a lot of those things that it feels like it's doing it at the right level, right? As opposed to like you having to like go in and kind of like tweak, like go in and kind of like reach in and like monkey patch a bunch of stuff. It's like, hey, this request is
yeah,
going to go out, and we're just going to catch it when it fails. And I really
yeah.
like that.
Cool, cool. All right, so I was thinking you want to maybe get up to some coding now. We can kind of bootstrap this thing up and see where we go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive in.
Okay. All right,
Cool.
cool. Okay. All right, just gonna switch us to pairing view here, and okay.
Cool.
So we talked about this briefly before the stream. You were thinking it'd be really nice to kind of just literally start from the ground up, just to kind of give everybody the experience of getting stuff set up.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
I
cool.
I say let's just dive in. Let's I think there's it's easy to assume that there's like a lot of magic, and so I'd love to kind of like dispel any sense of magic by just kind of like, just getting in there and doing it all. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's dive in.
Okay, cool. So I've created a folder and I'm just gonna initialize it. So um, yeah, so I guess let's go from here. So we just want to start a project up right away.
Yeah. So something that's great for this. So one thing to know right off the bat is that Storybook. So there's a command you can run. I wouldn't run it right now, but npx Storybook init, and what that'll do
Okay.
is it'll actually like it requires a project. So let's say you have a next project. It's going to go in and be like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, this is the next project. It's using, Webpack 5 and, React as the view layer. And, we have a framework for Next to handle some of the like deeper integration. So it's going
Yeah.
to find all that stuff and then install all the dependencies that you need for your application. So that's really great. But for today, I just want to like not have to create a next app just so we can start a storybook. Um, so
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll run a different command. So we're going to go npx and then
Yeah.
storybook and repro. So this is the command that we use to do reproductions. And the cool thing about it is that it will kind of go through that similar process, but ask you questions along the way.
Okay, cool. I'll just zoom this in a little bit for folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is nice too because like I know we're not doing the storybook in it, but I remember when I first started using Storybook, it was like install the dependencies and then like and it was only React in the day, but uh like there's a lot better there's a better story now in terms of like it can auto detect things. So like when we had Preact at Dev 2, it was able to eventually detect that Preact was there and it set up things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like super nice in terms of experience. So
Yeah. And we're just getting better and better at like being able to detect projects, and so really excited about that. So yeah, so the repro is really designed for like any reproduction problems that you might have with various like integrations. But again, I like it
okay.
because it walks you through some of the decision tree that this would make on a project of your own, but like in isolation. So you can
Okay.
just be like, hey, I want to play with Storybook. So yeah, so let's do React,
Yeah.
just because that's what I'm most familiar with.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
And let's do Webpack React, because I know that
Okay,
is like the most battle tested.
yeah, sure. We'll call it Webpack React.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool. Now this is going to take a little bit, but yeah. Oh, this is something that kind of when I was distracted earlier talking about some of the changes that we've been making to Storybook, something that I had wanted to mention is that we're working right now on. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. We're working right
no
now
worries.
on a pre-bundling Storybook. So a challenge that a lot of people have had is that there might be some like dependency collision between some of what Storybook needs and what
Okay,
your application needs, because it's going to put a lot of dependencies in your package JSON. But we're working on pre-bundling, and I think that's going to come pretty soon, actually, where
okay,
you're just going to get like a storybook, and like we'll have like it'll be pre-bundled like on our side, so we have all of the like dependencies that we need, but then on your package JSON you're just going to get storybook, and then maybe the
okay,
like kind of like builder and bundler that you're using, so having that integration there on your side. So but yeah,
okay. Cool.
that's
All
something I'm
right.
really
So it looks
excited
like it's
about
all
because I
done
think.
here.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so then it'll give you the instructions, so you can just kind of cd into that project and then run yarn storybook.
If I learned how to type, yes. Okay, there we go.
That's the
Does
hardest part
it
of
does it
streaming is typing.
initialize? Does it initialize Git in there, or should I just initialize Git for the
Oh,
repo?
I don't know. Let's check. I can't remember.
Actually,
I guess if you run git init, it'll just like reinitialize it, right?
yeah. Okay, there is a Git file. Yeah, I'll just do it. Well, I can leave what's there. It's all good. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
cool.
And so we don't need to npm in it or anything. Okay, so you said what should we do now?
Yeah, so let's run this. So we'll do yarn storybook, and that'll run
Okay.
the script in our package JSON, which is just yarn. Yep.
And so it's bundling it, and then the other
Yep.
thing that's nice about this too is you get the hot module reloading going on in
Yeah.
Storybook, which is
Yeah.
nice. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got it there. Yeah. Nice. Just zoomed in. And so one of the things so every storybook, so even if you use the storybook command in your application, it's going to generate a handful of stories for you. And honestly, it wasn't until like a handful of weeks ago, as I was preparing a video, that I realized like how well designed these sample stories are. There's like a whole novel of
Yeah.
features like built into these sample stories. So that's kind of what I want to like cover today, is just kind of show you that there's actually a lot of really cool examples inside of this. So you can
Okay.
just click around there, click around like like the button header, and just kind of see what's in there.
Yeah, and for folks who might not have seen Storybook before, can you kind of maybe explain what's happening here? We have different stories to say like this is the large button and so on, but how is that all being driven, like in terms of the UI changing?
Yeah, totally. So in the left hand column, so we have our sidebar, and it has a list of all of our components, right? So in our application, we have like a button component, we have a header component, and we have a page component, and um, nested below those, you see all of the stories. So in button, you see a primary, a secondary, and a small component. And these are just kind of like isolated states. So these are
Okay.
combinations of props. So and if you look at the URL, it's like truly just like a serialization of some of the like props that can be passed into this component.
Okay. This is the
Okay.
initial one here. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the initial one.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so now what's cool about this is that like, so there's two things that you kind of like, get for free, I guess, is that like every time you create one of these stories, well, now there's like a document of that thing. And so you can kind of see like, this is like what it's supposed to look like in this exact state.
Yeah.
However, when using like, prop types or TypeScript, so like you have that add-ons panel open to you already. We have this really cool playground that you can use to manipulate some of these stories. So you can kind of go in there with the controls and just kind of like change things around. So like, oh, what does it look like if I change it from like a primary to false, or I change the label to be something like crazy big that we have to put in there
Yeah.
for legal reasons. And this
Okay.
can be
Yeah.
really valuable and help like and aid in a lot of conversations, because I know that for me sometimes it's not uh, you don't really know all of the things that you need to think about in UI development until you actually get your fingers in
Yeah.
there and actually like, kind of like move things around and, manipulate it and be like, oh yeah, it does kind of break a little bit weird for some reason when I have, more text than just button in there. Um,
Yeah.
and so one of the cool things that you get for free is just this, this playground. So if you use React with prop types or you use TypeScript, it'll automatically be able to interpret the like types and then create these UI controls for you, which is really handy and aids in a lot of kind of cross team communication. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that color picker is a cool one. It's kind of fun to just kind of like have all these these things.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But then let's go to let's just kind of like, so we covered kind of the side column of like what you're seeing in here. So like you're going to have a story for each state of your component that you want to document and might care about. But like going across the top now, so we're looking at the canvas view right now, but head over to docs real quick.
Okay.
So another cool thing that you get for free by having a component that is, it has clear interfaces with either prop types or TypeScript is you actually get a component or like documentation for this component like
Okay.
out of the box, which is really cool. Now, we're using, I think it's like a JS doc feature. So like these are just, so this example is using prop types. And I think we just like put a comment above each prop type. We can look at that in the code in a second. And that's how
Okay.
we're getting the description for each thing. So you do have to do a little bit of writing. It doesn't like do some type of like natural language conversion for you. Um, that would be sweet though. That'd be super
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so you get like all of this documentation as well, so you can see like kind of from a more like strict perspective, like what the interface of this component is,
Yeah. I
and then
got it.
it'll kind of include, so you can hit like the show code option there, and it'll kind of
Okay.
like give you a copy pastable version of that that code snippet.
Yeah, no, this is super nice. I like also how it's just showing you we're in React, obviously, so it's showing us JSX here, but it's just nice how you could you could also come in here, I guess, and you just say like, okay, well, I don't know, a primary button, and this is the text, and just you could obviously type it by hand, but like it's kind of nice if you're coming in here, especially for people that aren't necessarily the devs on the team, potentially, like
Yeah.
depending on how you're set up, in terms of adding content and stuff. But
Yeah, yeah, and it's really nice to just have it be able to be like, you click it on and off and like everything updates, and now I have my button, I can just copy and paste that, as opposed to like kind of having to figure out how to manipulate, like you get the basic version and then you got to figure out how to manipulate it like, on your own.
yeah,
So yeah, so this is really nice to just be like, oh, I want this, that. It's like picking off of a menu, like this, that, the other thing, not that, and then like, okay, copy and go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's jump back over to Canvas view.
Okay.
And yeah, so and then I want to kind of go into some of the other tools that we see on that top bar. So some really cool stuff that we have there is so we'll have like, there's the refresh zoom and all that kind of stuff. But if you go a little bit more to the right, you'll see a couple other options. um, One that I want to call out is that one that's like kind of like cascading boxes.
Okay.
And that is a configurable viewport tool. So if you click on that, you'll get like a couple of, basic viewports that we kind of like set you off with. But you can configure this to be whatever the, kind of devices or uh,
Okay.
kind of key breakpoints for your web application are. And then again, without having to make a bunch of stories for this, just kind of be able to see your components on everything. This actually demos really well. If you jump down to the page,
Okay.
you'll be able to see a little bit more of the kind of like responsive stuff there.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's really nice.
Yeah, so this works really great for layouts, and one of the nice things about this, right, is that yes, we have like dev tools, but as we go more into UI development, at least in my experience, like a lot of the stuff is done by committees of people. So you have like, especially in like design systems, you have developers, but there's also a lot of designers. There's a lot of user experience engineers. There's a lot of like QA folks. There's, managers, product managers,
Yeah.
and, maybe even like some C-level people. And being able to see this stuff in this fidelity without having to understand how like Chrome DevTools work is a
Yeah.
plus. But then also this configuration is shared right out of the box, right? So like, you know, I'm not even sure how I would share like even if I get all of my like local breakpoints and devices set up on my Chrome machine, how do I share that
Yeah.
between like Firefox and Chrome and Safari? I don't even think
Yeah.
that's possible. But then like sharing it between like all of my team and like all of the other people, like that's a huge like almost like an unsolvable problem, right? Because like, I mean, nobody's going to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be, yeah. Anyway, maintaining it, like, where do we host it? So this is really nice because it just puts all that stuff, like it just removes the question altogether. Like you can still have
Yeah.
your personal developer flow, but then in terms of like the key breakpoints and viewports that we want to support, like it's all there for anyone to just click a button and see how it
Yeah.
works.
No, I think this, excuse me. I think this is really great too, because like you're saying, like you don't want to C-suite opening up the developer tools, and it's like it's also the kind of thing you could just like, here, Mr. CEO or whoever, here's a tablet, take a peek, like click this, click that,
Yeah, that's a really great call out. Some people have so one of my coworkers, Jan Braga, worked on a design system at a company, and they actually used Storybook to test new user flows. So they would
Oh, no way.
build this, and then actually, this is a great call out. If you command click on that like exit link in the far right. Um,
Yeah.
It'll actually
The
break
four arrows.
the middle one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll actually break this out into like its own. So these are all iframes, and so it just kind of pushes out that iframe into like its own page. And so
Okay.
this is like a website, right? And so what they would do is that they would just kind of like run this on an iPad. They'd have like some key
Oh,
user
okay.
flows that they wanted to test, and then just say like, hey, how does this feel to you? And they'd do the thing, and they'd take their notes, and
Yeah.
then go back and make another version of it. And it was really cool because it's also integrated into the Git process, where it's like they would have a branch and they'd be like, okay, well, we learned all of these things. Let's do another branch off of this. Um,
Okay.
so being able to pop these stories out is like a really killer feature because you really can, depending on someone's experience and what you're hoping to gain from them, how far away they are from the code, um,
Yeah.
kind of meet them where they're at and get some really valuable information.
Yeah. And again, because you're not tied to the actual application, this can happen very fast too. So,
Yes.
you know, yeah. So, no, that's cool. That's, I hadn't considered that that use case, but that makes a lot of sense. So that's super cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. And I mean, again, like you said, like that speed of development and prototyping is so nice. And like, because like a lot of times, like, you know, if you were to do this in actual code, you might have to like migrate a database or something like that to actually get some of these things to work. And so a lot of times you're faking it anyway. And so to have an
Yeah,
environment where like kind of faking it is part of the separation is really nice.
yeah.
You don't have to get anyone's permission or change stuff that you don't really know about. Um, so yeah, so that's that. And then there's a couple other tools right next to the viewport tool. They're just really easy ways to like inspect the box model, get like one of those like outline inspectors, etc.
Oh, cool.
And so this can be really nice for like, you know, layout debugging without having to kind of like really go in and out of each element.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a, like I said, I think the last time I used Storybook was 9 months ago, and then even then I was using it a little less, just because I was in the process of switching jobs, not because I didn't want to use it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to see like it, because it's evolved over time, obviously, and
Yeah.
even from like almost a year ago, I've seen like I already see improvements in here, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's real. I mean, it's a really exciting project to track because there's just so much going on. And then I want to call out like Redwood too. Have you played with Redwood JS at all?
Uh, Briefly, Anthony, who's in the chat, came on the stream, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's integrated with Redwood, I
Oh,
believe. Is
nice.
that right?
Yeah. So Redwood has this really cool integration where it basically anytime you use any of their generators that generate views, it will create storybook files and stories for you. And
Oh, no way.
their integration is actually killer because they have this really awesome concept of a cell, which makes it really easy through ES modules to just export like the loading success and error state of a component as named exports. And then that kind of gets wired up inside of their cell construct. Um, but the cool thing is that in Storybook, they will just render, they'll just show all of those three views in parallel. And so you get a
Okay.
story for each. And so instead of having to try to, you know, get your application into a state where the, you know, modal is failing on launch, like you just
Okay.
have the error view, you style the error view, you know, you fix it, and then you know that the framework is going to take care of actually like integrating that for you.
Okay.
So really cool. I have to shout that out because, you know, Anthony's here, but then also like I feel like they've just done such a killer job of integrating
Yeah.
Storybook intentionally.
Yeah. No, no, for sure. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself because I have an office in the basement, and I have a window right in front of me, and there's literally this like almost egg-like piece of light that's like right on my face right now. So I'm like kind of try to dodge it, but I'll have to go with it for like the next 10 minutes or whatever. So
It's
apologies,
almost like
folks, if you.
Jason Langsdorff's submarine that you can just put on his face or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, somebody put a submarine on my face. Anyways, okay, so this is cool. So like, so we've taken a peek at like how we can manage the
Yeah.
props and stuff to test out things. And um, do you want to maybe take a peek under the hood into some of the code to see like how
Yeah,
this kind of
absolutely.
happens? Okay,
Let's do that.
cool.
One last thing I want to show you at a high level, though, if we go back into Storybook just for a second, is that
Yep.
so if you peek at the last story there on the page, um, so page logged in, it's doing something really cool. So there's no so this so I guess looked at logged out real quick first, and we'll see that there's like a, you know, it's using that header component and it has a sign in button that you can click
Yeah. Yeah.
for the sorry the logged the oh sorry logged out, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, the logged out
Yeah.
story. And so then I think you can actually click that button and it'll like kind of like simulate some data. Yeah, okay, perfect.
Okay.
Now this logged in story isn't actually passing any data in. But if you go to the
Okay.
interactions pane, you'll see that it's actually creating this story state from a testing library click.
Oh, no way. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, which is really neat because like, there's so many ways to write a story. One is just by like using a component interface to pass data, but then another, which I find incredibly useful, is to actually like describe the interactions that will create the state that you want to document, which
Yeah.
is super handy.
No, that definitely is. And yeah, this is the first time I actually see, because I'm a fan of React testing library as well, and I didn't realize you
Yeah.
could use it like this within Storybook. So that's super cool to see.
Yeah. So let's dive into code then, because this that's kind of like the overview of features. Those are the things that you're going to see when you jump into a storybook. But I
Okay.
think seeing how those things actually integrate is important.
Okay, cool. Let me just open this up. I installed the stable version of VS Code yesterday because
Nice.
I like Insiders, which is the one that you can grab whenever, but it doesn't open some things like if you're using live share and like somebody you go from the browser and stuff. So, anyways, long story short, I have a I have an alias in my ZSH config, so if you type code, it actually runs code insiders. But now that I have the real code, it's giving me an error. So, anyways,
It's just
good old
freak
first
doesn't
world
know what to
problems.
do.
Yeah, cool.
um,
All right, so
yeah.
we're in here now.
Okay, so we're in here, and then it looks like we have a stories directory. So a handful of things that you want to note is that there's a stories directory, and this directory, so like if you install this in an app, it's kind of designed to be deleted wholesale. So the
Okay,
reason that we like put it in there is so that you can be like, oh, okay, like I know what I'm doing, I'm just going to delete this whole directory, and you don't have to worry about like kind of deleting important files for you to actually be successful writing stories. However, this is kind of like a demonstration of like, how you would structure a storybook. So let's just open the button story. I think that's probably the simplest one. So we can do that one. Now, something to note is that this is using the second version of our component story syntax, and
okay,
there's a third version, and we may cover that if we want. I linked a video just a second ago, or not a second ago. It's probably like 30 minutes ago now. Um,
okay. Oh, I see it. I'll
I'll link it
drop it
again.
again.
Um,
Okay,
that covers the kind of what some of these features would look like in component story format 3, which is really awesome. Um,
okay,
but anyway, we can. I'll just kind of like go over like an overview. So really, there's while there's a lot of code here, I just kind of want to break it down for you. So on line 3,
yeah,
we're just importing our button component. It's just a regular JSX button. And then on line 6 through 13, we're exporting basically the like structure of how we want this story to like appear inside of our docs. So if you look at title, it says like example slash button.
yeah.
Well, if you take the like slash out of that, then it's going to kind of like move it around in the hierarchy of the sidebar.
Over,
So it'll just kind of
over
show up
here.
like
Yeah,
as button. Um,
yeah. Okay,
and so you can kind of further nest things based on like, where you need them to appear, kind of in your own structure for your application.
okay,
And then and so then what we do is so in there's a little bit of magic happening on line 8 where we have where it says component button, and then that's actually where it's building up that documentation that we saw to show the interface for that component.
okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. And then if you go down to the so like line 16, we're just kind of like building up a template. And so what is it? Storybook has this concept of args, which is kind of like a universal word around what we call props in React. And so this is just like a template that we would reuse to pass args to all of our stories.
Okay,
And then so for each story, we're just going to do each thing like that. Um, So we could take this kind of a couple directions right now. One, we
Yeah.
could like talk about like kind of CSF3 and how a lot of this boilerplate ends up going away in CSF3. We could kind of make sure that we hit the interaction testing stuff, which I think is really interesting. Or we could like put this on Chromatic and get some visual testing. Or we could do, all of them depending on how much time you have.
Yeah, we got I think we got about 22 minutes left here.
Okay.
It's crazy how time is flying. Honestly, like I feel like I've been talking to you for like 5 minutes, but it's been like over an hour already.
I know it goes
Yeah,
fast, doesn't it?
yeah. Well, when you're
Um,
having a good conversation, that's how it goes. So
well, I think that, again, like I just published that video on CSF3. So I think that, if you're interested in seeing like this boilerplate dramatically reduced, I have like a
Mhm.
7-minute video that shows all of these same demos. And so like if you've been looking at these demos, you'll be super well primed to see those examples. I think it'd
Okay,
be interesting, probably most interesting to go into the page component and look at the
okay.
component testing side of things.
Yeah, yeah, no,
And
for
then maybe
sure.
spend the rest of our time just kind of putting it on Chromatic, because I think we could definitely get that done in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. If we go over, I mean, unless you have a hard stop, I mean, it's okay if we go over. I'm just going to just want to be mindful of your time as well. That's all.
Oh yeah, I mean, like this is what I'm doing today. I'm just here with you. So
Okay. Yeah, all right. Nice. I'm just gonna start up Storybook again because I actually, when I reopened VS Code,
oh, we killed it.
it disappeared. Yeah, that's me. Cool, cool. All right. So yeah, so let's talk about the story here within the pages
Yeah,
component.
yeah, for sure. So what we're going to want to open up is the page. So this is the page component. And what
Yeah.
we want to open up is the page.stories.jsx. So this is kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
this
Sorry.
sidecar thing where we're going to document it.
Yeah, I didn't realize I opened the React component. Okay, cool.
Honestly, I do that a lot because it's like they're the same name, and I'm like, oh yeah, page, and then I'm like, wait, this is the component, not the um.
Cool, cool.
Okay, cool. So this one differs just ever so slightly in that we're on line 2. We're importing a handful of things from Storybook testing library.
Okay.
And then there's a little bit like we're using a layout that's like full screen. It's not padded. That's really the only thing that's happening on line 11. But
Okay.
for the most part, the rest of this looks pretty similar. If we go down though, you can see what's actually making that interaction story. And we can kind
Okay.
of step through this if we want. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
we're
let's
just
do it.
adding a play function, which is kind of Storybook's like mechanism for running these like async operations on top of stories. And so what we do is we just kind of like take the past canvas element to us, we set it up for testing library with the within function, and
Okay.
then we find our button, using the get by role, and just click it. And all of that is going to happen kind of before like kind of like for us, so we see that story in the kind of like end state of this thing.
Oh,
But we could
okay.
honestly do any number of things at this point. So like if we wanted to like log in and then log out, we could just reverse this.
Okay.
In fact, why don't we do that right now? Let's just write a new story that kind of does both the setup and the like teardown for this. So
Yeah,
we'll just
no,
copy
that's fine.
that.
Yeah, okay, that's probably easier. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
Logged
perfect.
in, logged out or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice, perfect. Yeah, and so like something that I think is kind of cool. Let's now, so we could repeat all of this stuff, but let's comment it out for now, and
Okay.
we'll adjust it later. um, because there's because these are like just like objects, basically like objects and functions. Oh, sorry. Comment out the body of the play function, and then we'll still
Oops,
keep
sorry.
the
Keep the
yeah.
play.
So
Okay.
because these are just like objects and functions, we can actually like, compose these things together. So Oh yeah, we do need to change that to logged in and logged out
Oh
as
yeah, yeah.
well.
Good call. Good call.
Otherwise, we're just changing the other one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
um, so what we can do here is we can okay, so now in the body of this we can actually call the other play function, and that's why it's important that we rename it. But we can actually do like async um, async logged in dot play, and then
Okay.
pass in an object with that canvas element.
Okay, so would I await it then in here or do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, logged in, and then like you said, pass in. Do I have to destructure it? It's a prop in there,
Oh yeah, so you do
or...
logged in dot play.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no
Uh,
worries. Yeah,
GitHub
and
Copilot
then
kicking in.
yeah, and then the way you have it right there is perfect. If we wanted to, we could take that full like the full context object, because we're just pulling canvas element off of a larger context object. We could take the full object and pass it in. For this example, it doesn't totally matter, but there are reasons you might want to take the full object. And
Okay, yeah.
so if we save this in this state, we should see the same story like twice. But we're kind of like using the example from the other play function.
Okay. Yeah, so we see log out because it logged us in automatically, like you said.
Yeah.
So seems to be behaving as expected. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the cool thing is like we don't have to like duplicate that just for this other story. But now that we are kind of calling the other function, let's do the log out again and like get that as a like an additional click step.
Okay, cool. All right, so that would be at this point. I would do. Would it be out? Yeah, I guess at this point, do I get the button again? I guess like
Yeah,
we
so I
do
think at
here.
this, so we can take those three lines like from 29 to 31 and move those down below the await and then uncomment them. And actually, if we want, we can actually just like save them as commit them as is, and we'll actually see the story fail, which could be interesting.
Okay, so if we do this right now, oh, because it already played the same thing. Is that why it's gonna fail? You mean?
Yeah, so it's not going to be able to find a log in button because it is now a logged out or a log out button.
Oh yeah, yeah, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, yeah, okay. And then there's an error in the interactions. Okay, I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and
And this
so
is
now we get.
sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all good. All I was gonna say was for folks who haven't used React testing library or any of the testing library tools, it's really cool because it's getting it by the rule, so it's like kind of an accessibility test, like a lightweight accessibility
Mhm.
test, but and it clearly didn't find it, that's just I don't know, it's just really nice. I'm still I didn't realize until this stream that there was a testing library for Storybook, so it's just really cool.
Yeah, and this integration is so cool because it's like you're seeing a story. Like, when you clicked on that story initially, like you didn't know that it was being drawn from interactions. And so it's cool to be able to like, do this kind of stuff where you're actually using these kind of like like user type features, right? Right. Like we're looking for a button with that text and then clicking it, as
Yeah,
opposed to just like giving it state, which is really a really powerful thing. So yeah, so if we want to
yeah.
make this test pass now, all we have to do is change that to log out, I think, and then it
Yeah.
will log out.
All right, so let's take a peek here. Okay, yeah, perfect. And we see it ran the two things or the two interactions, it played them. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, that is super cool.
Yeah, and so for people who use Jest, actually, like I don't know if it's worth going through right now, but let's say like you make use of Jest for more like unit testing across your component suite. We do have a Storybook Jest add-on that you can install,
Okay.
and you could do Jest assertions in here the same way you would elsewhere, and then run all these tests headlessly inside of Jest, which is
Oh,
really
okay.
cool because it's basically like a GUI for like React testing library, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, it's like kind of like
Yeah. Um, So yeah, it's pretty cool. uh,
Yeah.
if you want, we could set that up real quick. I think that there's a handful of things that we have to npm install, or we could
Yeah.
go the chromatic route.
Um, yeah, I guess we could try it real quick to see if
Okay,
you.
cool. I think okay. So if I remember correctly, I think that we can get away with just installing. So like so yarn add dash dash dev. Is it dash? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll be at Storybook Test Runner, I think.
Okay. Dash test runner or slash or.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So at Storybook slash test dash runner.
Okay, cool. Oops, typed a zero there. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll let that install. I saw jest in there somewhere.
Yeah, and so I think that will come with the like Storybook Jest package. So we'll see. We may have to install that as well.
Okay. And it looks like you're using Playwright for headless here, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then I'm gonna open it up on my side just to make sure that I actually get every like I have a like a pre-baked version of this on my side. So if we get lost, I can hopefully get us back on the right path.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool.
So
All right,
package
that's
JSON, yeah,
installed.
cool. And so if it's installed, then we should be able to go back into the stories file, and then we'll import. Let's see, what will that look like? So we're going to import the named export expect from at storybook slash jest, which I think should have
Okay.
come along as a dependency.
Yeah. Storybook. Just test runner, you said, or
Jest. It may not have come along, and so we might need to install that as well.
okay. Yeah, I don't think it's got jest in here. Okay.
Okay, cool. I might have been like confusing things, but yeah, we'll see. We'll start with
No
the yeah.
worries.
So let's add Storybook Jest, and then we'll start with that, and then I think we'll do like the test runner step to actually run it in Jest,
Oh,
because this is just going to be getting us the kind of like assertions. Um,
okay.
okay, cool,
All right, cool. So we got that now.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then now in the so if you go to the what is it, the logged in story, we can write an expectation that should apply to both stories now because we're kind of composing those together.
Yeah.
So right after the user event, we should be able to just do like expect, and then like what let's see, expect, and then we'll do parens, and then await canvas, and then we'll kind of like copy the you can copy the canvas dot get by
Oh,
role
okay.
button, and then just change it to like the logged out one.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Yeah.
then I guess to be something or to not be null or something.
I think you can just expect it.
Oh, okay.
Like expect that it has like that it exists.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll just start this up again because I killed Storybook. Yeah, and I guess I mean it's great that you can build the components in isolation, but these are also kind of like some mini integration UI-ish tests because it's not a full-blown end-to-end test per se, but
Yes.
it still gives you like some good testing,
Yeah.
Okay, so if we come here, okay, so expect. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, and so then if you wanted to, you could kind of like again because these are composed, like so it's going to do that in both of those stories because it has the assertion um, kind of in that first one, and then we're just kind of duplicating it in the other one. But then you could
Okay.
run another assertion on the other like story if you wanted to assert that the inverse happened when you logged out again.
Okay, yeah, cool. Let's just test that out. And if I come here, okay, so as expected, we have the one here that's composed from the other play, and then we've got our click that we were doing, and then our expect within our own there. So
Yeah.
it's really nice. I like that because like I've done a lot of end to end testing,
Mhm.
and the end to end testing is great, but there's a big cost to writing them and maintaining them,
Yeah.
and it's great for critical flows, and like, because when I first started doing end-to-end tests, I was like, okay, I gotta write end-to-end tests for like literally everything, and
Yeah.
it does
Yeah.
it doesn't work well that way. It doesn't scale and stuff, and I can see like this complementing that in a really great way, because then you could say like, let me test my checkout flow or my login log out
Yes.
flow, and it's
Yes.
the big lines, like it's not broken, but then
Mhm.
you can be more fine grained at the component level to just say like, are all these things actually happening when that's going on, so that's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely like I feel like if all tests were exactly the same speed, both to
Yeah,
execute and to write, then I think that, end-to-end tests would probably be the gold standard.
yeah.
However, they are not the same speed to
Yeah.
to do that. So
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
you hit it right on the head. The idea of, what are the critical paths, right? Can someone log in? Can they pay me? Can they, do CRUD operations on the God object of this thing? If we have a to-do app, can they
yeah,
create, delete, and update, those things? And then kind of, those are like the big things that you want to make sure are never on fire. And so like those are like really great for end-to-end tests. But
yeah,
then this is a really, a much faster, a much more pleasant way to write this. A lot
yeah,
easier to keep like in line. So yeah, I totally agree with you. So
yeah,
yeah, I think so. We have test runners. So why don't we do that, and then maybe we can kind of put all this stuff on Chromatic.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Okay, cool. So, all right,
Um,
I'm
from
just
there, I think all we have to do is add a node script, and it should work. I think I'm looking at my example, and I don't think I have any other magic in there. Um, but if we
okay.
go into our package JSON, we'll add a test dash storybook script. You can call this whatever you want, honestly, but
Yeah,
this might be the easiest.
yeah,
And then that's just going to run test storybook. Um,
okay,
yeah,
cool. Okay. And then just run that now, or
I think so. I think so. If not, I might be crying in a second. But
it's all good. It's all good. It's the beauty of live streaming, which I'm sure is things. It's not like a YouTube video. It's not always perfect, and people are cool with that.
yeah,
Okay,
I love that.
so okay, what's this? Oh, I have to
Oh,
be running Storybook as well. Okay,
yes, yeah, we have to run a storybook.
so
And if you had wanted to, you could kind of like augment the command to, augment the script to make sure that storybook is running first. But
okay,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Do a like a pre-check or something. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Uh, okay, so that's running again, and let's start this up now. Okay, so let's see what's going on in here. Okay, so it's running headless here.
Yep.
It's testing the stories and everything passed. It said.
Yeah. So the cool thing here is you're getting automatic smoke tests for these components. So it's just gonna run your component kind of in the default state and say like, hey, does this thing even run? But then it's gonna run all of your stories. And then if you make one of those assertions fail now in the page story,
Okay,
you'll
yeah,
see that you'll get like the same error that we got in the browser, but now in jest.
yeah, cool.
So like if you
Fine.
already have a, deeply integrated, Jest test suite, in your like CI pipeline, like, well, now you can just kind of like integrate these into that without a lot of to do.
Okay, okay, cool. And it fails like we expected. So,
Yep.
so that's cool. Oh, no, that's really nice. Okay, cool. I'll just put that back. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, that
Yeah. And
ran. I
then
mean,
we
I was just gonna
have
say it
this.
ran pretty fast.
Yeah. I'm gonna find a blog post real quick because something that's actually really fun, and if we had time, I might take it that direction. But you'd mentioned the importance of accessibility testing, and
Yeah.
one thing that we can do here uh, is we can actually take this a little bit further, and we have some tools that allow you to run Axe Playwright
Oh, no
inside
way.
of this test runner. Yeah, yeah, which is awesome. And so you can get all of the benefits of that running running in this like headless environment, which is super cool. I'm gonna find a blog post that my colleague Varun wrote that's really awesome. uh Man, we have so many blog posts. Automate accessibility tests with Storybook. um so if you kind of like followed along up to this point, you can kind of take it just like one more step. It's like you drop in like a block of config,
Okay.
and it's like good to go. So that post is really cool if you want to kind of dive into kind of automated accessibility testing.
Okay, cool. I'll just load that up real quick for folks.
Yeah,
Is that the right one? Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
I know that's super
totally.
cool.
Yeah, and so you can see like we installed a lot of the stuff that it'll say that you have to install, and really it just comes down to, I think you'll find a code if you scale this, go down a little bit more. You should see a code block, and it's basically like you copy and paste that code block into like a
Okay.
testrunner.js file, and install the dependencies, and like you're good to go.
No, that's great. And like the I like having things like this because especially for folks who, not every team is full of accessibility experts. Like I
Hmm.
was lucky enough to work with an accessibility expert at DevTube, but having tools like this, it doesn't guarantee everything is accessible, but it's definitely better than if you didn't have anything like this for sure. You know what I mean? Like, because there's still like
Right.
manual testing to things like
Yep.
but like I think having stuff like this is great, like for at least guardrails to like, hey, don't do some bad stuff that out of the box we can tell you is just don't do it.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Like, so this is going to be able to help you with some of that, like those things that kind of regress without us really thinking about it. So like maybe we make a font too small, or maybe kind of we too weak a color, and like it actually pushes it out of a, double or triple A rating, whatever we're trying to target. And this stuff just kind of like
Yeah.
really makes it, like you said, guardrails. It just puts those guardrails up there to be like, oh, okay, like it's at least gonna yell at us, when we try to push code, that we kind of had a regression in kind of the visual accessibility of this page or this component or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. No, this is super cool. I know we're at 2:30. How much time do you think it would take to show chromatic? Uh,
Oh, I think that we could get it set up. I mean, like I would say easily in 10 minutes we could get it showing the basics.
okay.
And if and then we could decide to take it further or not from there. But yeah, if we have 10 minutes, I think we could definitely get it set up in that amount of time.
Yeah, yeah. No, let's do that, and then I will. Unfortunately, I could honestly talk to you all day, but I will have to jump off once we kind of see the basics of chromatic. But yeah,
Yeah,
let's do
yeah, for
that.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think honestly, just being able to see like how Chromatic is going to visually snapshot the kind of interaction tested pages is just super cool. So I think it'd be really cool to go there. So yeah, the easiest thing is this on? We'll need to put this on GitHub, I think,
Okay.
um, to get
All
it
right. So
to
let
get it
me
all working.
just. I'm just gonna delete the git there and just re-add it because so I can put it on my own.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. Yeah.
Uh, git, or maybe I didn't need to do that. I think it might have been tied to another remote, but git init. Oh, I already did that. All right, so okay, and then let's do GitHub repo create. Good old. I don't know if you use the GitHub CLI, but I find it super handy for a lot of stuff like this.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's the best.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll make this public. I'll for folks watching the stream or checking this later. I'll definitely link to the stream and the YouTube video once it goes up. And then okay, yes, I would like to push. Yes. Okay, so this is up on a GitHub repo now.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
so
Let's go to chromatic.com then.
yeah, just open up
And
a.
you're logged in with GitHub, so that should make it pretty easy, honestly.
Yeah,
Are you using
let's
that
just
Arc
sign in.
browser?
Yeah, I got it access to it a few months ago. Have you had a chance to
Nice.
try it out?
I haven't. I haven't. Um
I'll
yeah.
send you uh I'll send you a code for it because I have
Oh, cool, cool,
invite
cool.
codes.
That'd be awesome.
Uh,
Thank you. I'd love to give it a try.
yeah, no, it's a tangent, but like I just think they've solved a lot of pain points I've had with browsers. So
Oh, cool.
like just stuff like when when you're watching a video and you switch tabs or something, stuff like that, it just pops it out automatically. It brings, like you can see right now, it's bringing the focus to the page itself. Everything else is out of the way. If I need my stuff on the
Yeah.
side, I can just pull it out. um,
That's really
okay.
nice. That's really nice.
Oh, this
Um
is Netlify stuff, I think.
oh, did we link your Netlify instead?
Well, no, it's my GitHub, but it's because, yeah, no, it's the
Oh,
right thing.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
it's all
Well,
good.
yeah. So we were able to use the like GitHub auth to get in here, and then let's just jump into add a project. And so it looks like you have some Netlify React UI stuff in there. That's cool. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I guess we use
and
Chromatic as well. Where's my Webpack one? Add repo by name. No, it's not Netlify. Oh, really? Okay, I don't know if it's because it's weird. I logged in with my own email, so it's not my Netlify email. I don't know why it's
oh, interesting.
that could be something set up in our org. Okay, I might not be able to do it. Or
Oh, fascinating.
but it's weird because like this is my GitHub. That's my email. It's not my Netlify email. I'm
Okay.
connected. Yeah,
Okay,
I
so you're
don't.
connected to GitHub, so it should be able to have. I wonder if maybe the right what is it?
Can
Uh
I change the org or something?
yeah.
Oh, that's why. Nikki T Online. There we go.
Okay,
I
cool,
had
cool,
two
cool.
options. I had Netlify and okay.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yes, this looks familiar now. Okay, cool. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so we'll just add a GitHub project.
Okay. So I picked the Webpack React one.
Yep.
Okay.
And then it's just going to give you a script to install. Grab the Yarn version just because this is a Yarn run project that we have right now.
Yep. Okay. Let's run that. Okay. And
So that's
then
going to install the chromatic dependency. And then once that's installed, then this is the script that you're going to run to actually produce and send a build to chromatic.
okay, that's the npx Chromatic down here.
Yeah, yeah. And what the chromatic script does is it's going to run your local script build storybook, and it's configurable. So if you decide to change the build storybook name, that's fine. You can change it as well. But by default, it's going to run the build storybook command. Let's
Okay.
see
I
what
think I got
happened
an
here.
authentication error maybe.
Okay,
Flex
retrieve information,
storybook.
refer to your.
Found only one commit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, because you collapsed the commit history, right?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so just add another commit or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we just need to
Okay.
have two. It's just kind of like a quirk of the system. You have to have at least like two commits to like, pull the whole history. So yeah,
Okay,
it,
there we go.
it's it's something that you almost never come across in an actual app, but in demonstrations like this, it happens like all the time, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, no, no, that's cool. It makes sense because it's kind of like you're just starting off. So, okay, cool. All right, so this is doing the build. So I imagine right now it's building Storybook. It's putting it into a temp folder, and then that'll push that up to Chromatic. Is that what's gonna happen, or?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So locally in your package JSON, there's a build storybook command that's going to build a static version of your storybook, and you can host that anywhere. But Chromatic will use that same build step to create a static storybook and then make a build from it.
Okay, cool. All right, so it looks like it pushed it up and it's just running the tests that we have. And then, yeah, no, I find the visual regression thing interesting because I haven't really done much of it myself. Would you like to add it? I'm assuming I want to add the chromatic
Oh
script.
yeah. So this is just asking you if you want to add the script that we manually ran with your project token to um,
Oh, okay.
your yeah, so you can hit yes here. Typically what I do is I'll put this as a secret, and actually I have another video right here that'll actually go through, for anyone interested, go through the whole process of adding the actually no, I don't. I did do it in my React Advanced talk. um,
Okay.
but
Well, if you find it,
yeah.
feel free to drop it to me later because when I put up the YouTube, I'll put all these links in there. So,
Okay, cool.
um,
I do have a
cool.
video just kind of showing a basic setup. So let me Storybook.js. I'll grab that. Um, and then something that's kind of cool is that you know, like I said, you know, when we build a static storybook, we can actually we can host it anywhere. But there's actually a
Hmm.
handful of things that you get for free when you host your storybook on Chromatic, and one of those is
Okay.
embeds. Which is really cool. So, you know, if you know, if you're using Notion or you're using, you know, Medium to blog about your design system or whatnot, you can actually just you know, copy links to your stories, and it'll actually
Oh,
embed
okay.
like the full story, which is really cool. And that's what the video that I posted covered. Like, you know, covers like, you know,
Oh,
once you
cool.
get your stuff on Storybook, like what can you do with those hosted stories now?
Okay,
So yeah,
fascinating.
so now you have this thing, and if you have like a couple more minutes, we could actually go through the tutorial. So there's two things you can do from here. You can just kind of like
Yeah.
do the catch your UI change, or you can kind of like skip out of this. If you have a moment to add an additional commit where we change a variable, you'll actually be able to see the kind of UI change
Okay.
happen.
Sure. Yeah. So, any suggestions on what to change?
Yeah, so let's just go through. So let's click the catch UI change in the kind of like, you know, the on the website,
Yeah.
and that'll kind of guide
Okay.
us through some stuff. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
so it'll just say like, hey, change anything, and then basically run that same command that you had again. So
Okay.
let's go back, and I don't know. I mean, we could change maybe the button colored or red or something, or maybe something
Okay.
like, or change the text. Actually, that would actually make a pretty nice diff, I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Super long button text. All right. Okay. Just get aliases here. Button text. And when I make
And
this change,
mhm.
sorry, go ahead. No, no, you go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say you can commit this, or like for the purposes of this example, you don't actually have to commit it. You'll just run
Oh,
another
okay.
build. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah. So and then you can use the script that you added. I can't remember what it's added as, but if you go to package JSON, oh, chromatic. Yeah. So now you can just do yarn chromatic, and
Okay.
that'll run that same thing with your project token. Now, typically, what you want to do is you would put this as like a GitHub secret, and then use the like GitHub secret inside of the script name. Um,
Yeah.
and so that would be like the safest way to do it. Uh, but you know, for the purposes of this example, it's you're gonna be
Yeah.
fine.
I'll delete the the key after just so not that Chromatic has my credit card, so I should be okay. But
Yeah. And there's an easy like recycle key or option inside of Chromatic.
okay.
If you know, for the purposes of, you know, like if you wanted to actually like keep it online or whatnot, but make it a secret.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is nice. So it did the build and it said there was a regression. So I'm just gonna
Yes.
click on that. Where's
Yeah,
the
and
there we go.
the other page should have automatically updated as well, um,
Okay,
which
let me
is
see.
cool. So one change spotted. Okay, sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for.
yeah,
Um,
okay. And it's
and then if
shaking.
you
So if I
click
just click on it,
Yeah, and if you click into it, it'll actually ask you, you know, if this was an intentional change. It'll show
okay.
you the diff with a handful of like different diff views that you could, you know, use if you wanted. Um, but yeah, like this is what you can expect from Chromatic, which is really cool because now, like, no visual change can like creep in, which is really
Yeah.
awesome.
No, this is cool because this would be part of your CI/CD pipeline too, right? Like you could even
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's actually, and I can paste find a link to that as well. But if you just Google like GitHub Actions Chromatic, there's like a blog post that we have. Yeah, and it has like literally just like the exact thing that you want to copy and paste to
Okay.
make it a GitHub action.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, and so then the cool thing is that when you actually integrate it with GitHub and your CI pipeline, now these are going to be checks on your GitHub, like pull requests or whatnot. And so
Yeah.
it'll be like, hey, green, nothing changed, like you're good to go, or like, hey, you got a couple things that you need to review. Um, and so then, yeah, once you do this, you can accept changes that will update the baseline. And now we'll expect any branches from this point forward to have that super long text button in the example. And
Cool.
yeah.
Well, Tom and Dominic says the change is good too, so that's awesome. No, this is super cool because I like that you can literally prevent the build from going out because like something changed in the UI that you really don't want to ship. So this is super cool, and yeah, I'm still newer to visual regression testing because it, but it's definitely super interesting. It's a space that I can definitely see being where like the human's not going to catch this, right? Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
just going to change the text, no biggie, and then it's like, did you
Yeah.
really?
Well,
Yeah.
and another thing too is that so I think, is this step done? Can we like move let's see. Well, let us kind of progress past maybe the very
Oh yeah,
bottom.
learn how to merge. I think this could be maybe because I'm in demo mode. Maybe that I
Yeah,
can't
you can
continue.
hit
I don't
learn
know.
how to merge, and then I think that'll let us get. Yeah, and it'll
Okay.
just kind of like tell you like, okay, cool, sounds great. So
Okay.
that's saying like now you can kind of like integrate it into your CI pipeline, which we had discussed.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so the cool thing is that once you have it up to this point, now there's a lot of chromatic APIs that you can take advantage of to like have your robots do a lot of work for you. So there are APIs that allow you to set a bunch of breakpoints that you want to test each of, test certain views or all of your views in. And then I'll make sure that now it tests across all of your breakpoints. So you aren't just testing the one view, but you're testing that view times all of your breakpoints, and
Yeah.
making sure that none of them have introduced visual regression testings that only, or visual regressions for like just one breakpoint. Um,
Okay.
you can also this is a paid feature, but you can integrate different browsers. So if you want to add Firefox, like so this uses Chrome, but you can add Firefox, you can add Internet Explorer, and soon Safari, to make sure that there are no regressions that happen just in a specific browser. So
Okay.
there's a lot of cool stuff like that. You can kind of take it from here, where it's like you're now saving like tons of like developer and QA time by not having
Yeah.
to rerun some of these features across, all the viewports across all the browsers, and like, the you know, thousands and thousands of states that introduces.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it makes sense. Like when you're like, we want to, you have a mission critical app, like it makes, I think paying for something like this is worth it to get the extra stuff, it's like, I know developers are always funny. It's like, you'll spend like all kinds of money on stuff. And then, I think we lost Chan for a sec there. Your camera went out. Um, there, you're back. You faded
Oh,
out for a
sorry.
second.
Yeah, I'm glad it came
It's
back
all
because I
good.
was like, oh man, what a terrible way to end, just like disappearing. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Poof, he's gone. Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, it's just funny how devs are always like, oh, I'm not gonna pay for this, and then meanwhile you'll go spend a ton of cash on other stuff. But I think like from a business standpoint, it makes sense. Like if these are mission critical things, and like, not every person that you're serving is running Chrome, like that's like,
Yeah.
that's maybe devs doing that, or whatever. So no, I think that's great, and it looks like there's a pretty good free tier to kind of get up and started
Yeah.
here, and so no, that's
Yep.
awesome.
There's a free tier, so you can, get it set up for yourself, and then, give it a try, see how you enjoy it. Works great for small projects. I use it for a ton of small projects, and yeah, I just really like the workflow because again, this goes back to the beginning of the conversation, is that there's a lot of things that I can just flush from my mind now, because I
Yeah.
know that they're under test. And that's a really good place to be, because it's like there's a, talking about like money, like, yeah, there's a time cost in testing all of these things, but there's also a huge opportunity cost of like me holding on to a bunch of like stuff that a robot could do in my human brain. Um,
Yeah.
and like, we can move a lot faster if there's these things in place where we just don't have to think about it anymore and trust that the things will get caught. And if we find new things, that we can now introduce new stories or new kind of like breakpoints or browsers or whatever to make sure that those things do fall under test.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Well, listen, thanks for hanging out
Yeah.
with me longer than expected. I do have to get back to work,
Yeah,
but like I
yeah, no,
said,
no, sorry
this
we
has been
went so long.
awesome. No, 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 don't, no apologies. Like, honestly, I've been like totally engaged this whole time. This is like super interesting, and you know, also a little selfish, but I got to hang out with you for 2 hours, so that was almost, so
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome too. No, this was super fun. There's so much new stuff in here that I hadn't seen in Storybook, so this is really great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me. And I mean, if I was just gonna, like push one thing, I would just say, I'm doing or like semi-weekly videos on our YouTube channel, and so, covering a lot of this stuff. So if anybody's interested in some of these, like, existing features or new features in Storybook or Chromatic, just subscribe, and you'll get to learn all this stuff kind of in more detail. So, but thanks so much for having me. This has been fun hanging out with you.
yeah, yeah. No, appreciate it. Cool. We're done for today, but it's a double header this week for me on the stream. I'm gonna be hanging out with Simon McDonald from Begin. We're gonna be looking at the Enhance Dev framework, which is like one of the other HTML frameworks there's a proliferation of those now, which is a good thing, I think. But we're gonna be checking that out on Friday. And yeah, thanks again, Chance, and take care, everybody.